Stay tuned and let's check out this Marvel Legends Bonebreaker Build-A-Figure wave, Vulcan. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and remember you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Bonebreaker Build-A-Figure wave, Vulcan. And to be honest, this one's highly anticipated for me because Hasbro have basically said that this new body mold is replacing the old bookie cap. So this is our sort of standard Marvel Legends body moving forward. It's obviously double jointed, completely pinless butterfly joints. So I am very curious to check this out in regards to scale compared to our previous bookie cap. But it is a new character for the shelf as well. It is Marvel's Vulcan, the Lost Summer's brother. He comes with a set of interchangeable hands, and you also get the Bonebreaker Build-A-Figure parts in the box too. So there we get X-Men Vulcan, X-Men logo on the top, picture of Vulcan on the side. On the back of the box, we get a write-up for Vulcan that reads, Vulcan sets his sights on total galactic conquest. Standing in his way are the X-Men, the Inhumans, and the Kree, and his brother Havok. And then as always, you get a list of all the figures in this wave you need to complete the Bonebreaker Build-A-Figure. Today we're reviewing Vulcan. So as I said, nice to add a new character for the shelf, but I'm also very curious about this new Marvel Legend body mold. Let's get it out. Here we have Vulcan out of the packaging, and he comes with a set of interchangeable hands, and also we have a cannonball situation all over again as he's got no legs. It is of course the Build-A-Figure torso and arms for Bonebreaker, and even some interchangeable fisted hands as well, which is nice to see for a Build-A-Figure. So you know what to do, we're nearly there now. Once we have all of the pieces for Bonebreaker, we will be building and reviewing him, and I am looking forward to that. Definitely has potential for best Build-A-Figure of 2022, but we shall see. Today we are talking about this new Marvel Legend body. So not only is it Vulcan, this is also like a landmark moment for Marvel Legends, as this body is going to be the new normal for male Marvel Legends. This is a completely pinless Marvel Legend body with butterfly joints added. So definitely an upgrade to the bookie cap, but how much of an upgrade is it? We shall find out when we do some comparisons. But first, I do want to concentrate on the actual character it represents, which is Vulcan, a new character for the shelf, and as I mentioned earlier, the Lost Summer's brother. So he is brothers with Alex and Scott, but they didn't know. He's also been aged up. But again, I will explain all right now. Gabriel Summers, aka Vulcan, is the youngest forgotten Summers brother who was aged up by the Shi'ar Empire as his parents were abducted. After he escaped the Shi'ar, on Earth he encountered Charles Xavier, who recruited him to form a new X-Men team. Vulcan is an Omega level mutant with massive energy manipulating abilities. So obviously that was very much a simplified summary of the Vulcan character. It's more complicated than that. However, in regards to the figure, they've done a great job of taking what you see on the comic page and putting it in plastic. And for the head sculpt, they've gone for like the yellowy gold eyes to represent that energy that's flowing and pulsing through his body, because he is an Omega level mutant. So I'm talking like top 10 most powerful X-Men mutant, full stop. Like that's how powerful he is. Very cosmic level character. So the head sculpt's nice, very stoic look, because he is a good guy, but he's conflicted. He's been through some stuff. The hair sculpt's very nicely done as well, all the way around. You can see that the head joint for this body, they've chose to go for a disc and hinge, which I know is disappointing some people because they would have preferred the dumbbell joint, but I don't mind the disc and hinge. It allows for like nice burying the chin so you can get looking down. That's a better look at the hair sculpt as well, just all dark brown, and then you can look up really high as well, so that's pretty good. So I don't mind the disc and hinge, and I think that's why they've chose it, but you do sacrifice the sort of tilt. There's no real tilt on the head there at all, and if I take the head off for a second, you can see what I mean. They've gone for the ball and the hinge, but people people prefer the dumbbell. Some people prefer dumbbell with the neck joint as well, like that double ball. But again, it's slowly upgrading the body, but I don't mind. I actually don't mind this at all. Now, before we take a closer look at all those new details, just look at the character design on Vulcan. You've got the reds, the blues, and then the gold. And the gold's got like a little green sort of tinge to it, but he's got the gold belt, and that belt is a separate sort of rubbery piece that hides the swivel at the waist. You can see it sort of moving a little bit there, and it is the same colour as the boots, and the boots are very nicely sort of hide that articulation of the boot cut as well. So yeah, gold boots, gold belt, and then you've got blue and red uniform. But it is what you see Vulcan as in the comics, so it's pretty accurate. Not mad about it at all. Now, let's concentrate on the new details. So of course, it has double jointed, pinless elbows, which is beautiful, very aesthetically pleasing, and as I said, you can manipulate them, and that's what you get. That's pretty good. Now, my elbows, now I think this is the same for everybody, are a different tone of red to the bicep and the forearm. Now, maybe this new technology requires a different type of plastic and they couldn't match the reds. I don't know, but is that going to be a continued thing we see on this body where the actual elbow and knees are a different shade because they can't match? It's the same with the knees, as I said. Again, it's only subtle, but it's definitely there if you start looking. But the double jointed knees, if I zoom out a little bit more, are really good as well. Like, he can kick his own ass all day long. And shout out Brandon, as his Vulcan, his ass actually fell off. But mine, I'd like to report, is intact, thankfully, and I won't be doing anything weird with that. What did Brandon do, I wonder? We've got the swivel up there at the thigh, as I said, the boot cut as well, and the legs go out pretty well. Like, that's not bad at all. Forward as well, not bad at all. And back, not so much, but that's fine. That's just human anatomy, people. In regards to the sort of torso area, a lot of people would have preferred to go like retro Spider-Man style with the ball joint in the waist rather than the swivel, but we've got the swivel and then we've got the ab crunch. So he crunches forward pretty good and he crunches back pretty good as well. So again, I'm not mad about it. That's decent enough for me. I'm not an ACBA guy though, so my requirements for action figures may be different to yours, okay? But I'm just saying, for me, I actually quite like the range of motion here. For me, it's more about, look, how does the character look on my shelf? Does it represent the character it's supposed to, etc.? But the main difference between this and the Bucky cap, because the Bucky cap, of course, has double jointed elbows, knees, etc., is the butterfly joints. This guy now, as standard, has butterfly joints, which again makes a difference because now you can actually get his hands like touching, which will make a difference for like shooting guns and posing with weapons and stuff like that. So I like that, and you do get a decent bit of range here. If I zoom in, see what's going on. So as I said, you sort of twist it there and you get a little bit of forward, not so much back, but there is, if you sort of force it a little bit, you can get his arms quite far back as well. But you've got to force it, and I'm scared I might break it, but you can see it's definitely moving and manipulating there. Maybe I need to heat it up, but it definitely doesn't go back as much as it seems it will. The cut's a bit deeper than it actually moves, but again, maybe I need to heat mine up. And then on the front, as I said, the cut's up there, so you can get his hands touching each other, and that will work for like flying poses, especially, as I said, you use that neck hinge, use the ab crunch, and you can get him in some great like fly-in poses, no problem at all. So if this is the new standard, any character that flies, you're going to get in some great poses, undoubtedly. The fisted hands are nice as well, and proportionately, like, he just looks good. Like, I don't think the body looks too big or the chest looks too broad. Like, these are super powerful characters that are being represented in plastic, so of course it looks like they've been hit in the gym, and they all sculpted detail with the abs, etc. This is, as I said, what we're going to see now on the new standard, which I'm absolutely fine with. So yeah, this is, as I said, this is my first impression. Genuinely, I'm talking out loud as I look at this for the very first time. And yeah, I'm not mad about this. If this is the new sort of standard Marvel Legend body, then it's definitely 100% an upgrade to Bucky cap. Vulcan also comes with a set of interchangeable open palm, much more expressive hands. Now, I just talked about proportions, and I can't work out if these hands are like too big. Like, they're bigger than his head, really. Like, is Vulcan's special ability massive hands? I don't think so. Again, this may just be me being weird, but you let me know. I like, do his hands look bigger proportionally to his body? Like, I can't really tell. Like, the hands are fine, but they just may be a little bit too big. I cannot for the life of me work it out if it's just me or they are actually too big. But they pose up nice though. But yeah, they just look a little bit big. Moving into some comparisons, obviously the first one I wanted to do was with the Bucky Cap. However, my original Bucky Cap is long gone. So instead, here we have his two brothers that share that original Bucky Cap body mold. We have Scott and Alex, Cyclops and Havoc, with their brother Gabriel on this new Vulcan body. Are we still calling it Bucky Cap 2.0? I don't think Dwight will be too happy about that. But here they are standing together, and first things first, he scales very nicely with the Bucky Cap body. Maybe a smidge taller, but I'm talking a smidge. So he is going to fit in scale with our Legends collection, no problem at all. Other than that, the articulation points are all in the same spots. The biggest difference is, of course, if I spin these round to the side, and you can see now on the Bucky Cap, we've got pins on the knees and on the elbows, where if I spin Gabriel around, you can see pinless tech in action, no pins on this action figure, and it does make for a more aesthetically pleasing action figure, that's for sure. But if I spin them back round, as I said, a lot of the articulation points are in the same spots. We've got the sort of ankle pivot, boot cut, double jointed knees, thigh cut, the legs go up and out far, not a problem, double jointed knees, shoulders are decent, heads are on the disc and sort of hinge. The biggest difference and the added point of articulation up is the butterfly joints, where these two don't have that. But there you go, that is your differences between the two bodies. So the Bucky Cap 2.0, aka Vulcan, is definitely an upgrade. Is it as big of an upgrade as we would have liked? I don't know, that is up to you to decide, but I think an upgrade is still something to be celebrated if this is the new normal. Now, of course, we have had an update for his brother Havoc. This is the Havoc that came in this very wave, and it is an upgrade as this is on the Sunfire body, but obviously the Sunfire body still had the pins. So if anything, I think this Vulcan body is basically a sort of more buff, pinless version of the Sunfire body, if that makes sense, as it has all the same points of articulation as the Sunfire body, it just doesn't have pins. So it's more of a pinless Sunfire body that's a little bit buffer. I would like this body to stand a little bit more neutral with his hands to his side a little bit, if you know what I mean, like more to his side. However, you can see his sort of traps there are a little bit thick, so he's a bit too buff for his own good. So that is my only nitpick. I do wish the hands would sit a little bit more flush to the body, but again, it's a nitpick. But here we probably have the best three representations of the Summers brothers in plastic for the first time as well, as we have Scott, Alex and Gabriel all together there. I'm not the biggest fan of Alex's crown here. I do actually prefer the modernized crown, but there you go, that's those all together, looking good. And for another quick comparison compared to some different versions of his brothers, here we have Scott and Alex. This is the sort of X Factor version of Havoc. I know a lot of people prefer that. And here we have Cyclops with a jacket on. Now Cyclops is always on the Bucky Cap body. He definitely is worthy of an upgrade, and now we know we have the new Morph figure coming in the VHS line with the sculpted sort of elements on the legs. I do think an upgrade for Cyclops is on the way. Here we have Vulcan and Darwin, who are definitely allies. At some point in the comics, Vulcan actually merged with Vulcan's energy to survive that original Krakoa explosion, and they have been a part of the same team as well. So these two can definitely stand next to each other on the shelf. Here we have some other figures in this Bonebreaker wave that I've already reviewed on the channel, with Siren and the first appearance Sabretooth. And let's be honest, as he is a brand new Marvel Legends body mold, I could have been here all day doing lots of different comparisons against loads of different types of Marvel Legends. However, this isn't going to be the last time we see the Vulcan body used, I guarantee it. So we'll see a lot more of it in times to come. So instead, let's just go back to the old Dan Who standard, because here we have Frogman and Tigra. And last but absolutely never least, here we have Vulcan compared to Captain Britain and Hal Fire Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Vulcan. Now, the big deal here about this figure is not only is it the first time we are getting Vulcan in action figure form, it's the dawn of a new era, as this has been said to replace the Bucky Cap body in the Marvel Legends library. This is going to be the new normal for our male action figures, and it's a very nice upgrade. Completely pinless action figure, aesthetically pleasing. It's going to look even more accurate to the characters we want represented on the shelf. As on the comic page, they don't have pins, do they? So now we have a more accurate representation, and as I said, this is the future. This is what we're going to see. Bookie Cap 2.0, aka the Vulcan mold. Either phrase is good, but I do think it is an upgrade all the same. Now, for me personally, I'm not a guy that's dramatically posing my figures. I'm not doing ACBA. For me, the most important thing is, does it accurately represent what I want from the comic page, the source material? And I do think the pinless tech is gonna make that better, but I know people out there would prefer more articulation, the people that do take photography and ACBA and posing and etc. So I know there's some points of articulation that other people would prefer, like the ball joint on the waist, for example, maybe, and the dumbbell in the head and maybe the neck. So there are still ways that this body can be improved, of course there is, but it is down to personal preference. And for me and my tastes and what I want in my action figures, I'm very happy with this update. So yeah, for me, no complaints. As I said, I just wish his arms would go a little bit flatter to the body. But again, he's a superhero. He's a buff guy. So that's just me being nitpicky. Overall, it's a great body mold. And again, I'm always happy to add new characters to the collection. And now we have the Forgotten Summers brother here on the shelf. So you let me know what you think of this new body mold, and if you have it in hand, in the comments below. I do think it will fit seamlessly in with our collection, and no complaints, as I've said. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like Marvel Legends, then you're in the right place, people. You really are. Go and check out the videos tab and hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. Hit the notification bell. Don't miss out on a video. And please, hit that join button. Become a part of the crew and community we're building here. Show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And I'm on Twitter as well at Dan Who Reviews. And until then, people, my name is Dan W. And I will, of course, see you on the next one.